Hello, it's Michelle Marie again, talking about reasons to do a transformational intensive. So today we are on reason number 4. I really love reason number 4. I love all of the reasons. You'll probably hear me say that a lot. I love this one. This is my favorite. They're all my favorite. But this one I think is especially important because many of the people who show up in my office have already been on the healing journey for a while. They've done a lot of different modalities. They've had a lot of different teachers. They've done a lot of different kind of healing practices. They've really been dedicated to their own healing most of their lives. And what I love about the work that I do is that one of my favorite phrases that I hear clients say all the time is intellectually, I know this, right? And there's a natural but there. But it's not landing in my body. But my fight or flight system doesn't understand that this isn't happening anymore. But, right, there's a lot of buts to, I get this intellectually. Like I understand exactly why I do what I do or what I need to do differently in order to get to the other side. It still is not happening. Right? And so an intensive, again, as I spoke about in the first video, is a chance to break through that kind of familiar layer that we kind of ride and hold on to that stops us from really getting into the deeper regions, the deeper material, the kind of the bottom of the iceberg, which is like 80% of the iceberg, right? It stops us from getting there. And so we want to be able to break through that layer and work with all of those parts of us that are in resistance so that we can fully get it from our toes to the tip of our head, our body, our central nervous system, the emotional center of our brain, the brain stem. Like we want the whole thing to be in alignment, right? So that we can actually shift this thing that has been keeping us stuck or has been rocking our world or has made it difficult for us to be in relationship or whatever, or be bolder in our business, whatever it may be. So we get to specifically target something, right? Specifically targeting, this is what we're doing. This is what we're working on. And we get to use the 4 or 5 hours, again, to touch on it from all of these different layers. We may do some embodiment work. We may do some art and get into the metaphorical center of the brain. We may do some trauma-informed movement. We may go over to my sand tray and pull out a bunch of figures and look at all of the different parts that are interfering. We will work with the brain and specifically finding the access point for where this information lives in your brain, both the challenging or distressing information and also the positive and expansive and resourcing information, right? We will be playing on all of those levels. And so being able to do the intensive and really set the stage for what we're doing here, that we're healing, we're creating miracles here, and also to specifically address a challenge, just allows us to really kind of approach it, play with it, be with it from multiple layers. And so it's not just an intellectual process where it's like, I get this, but nothing's changing, right? So we want to reinforce the pathways to success. We want to reinforce the pathways that say that we're safe, to reinforce the pathways that say that something is possible for us, to even like dare to dream that this thing is possible. And we need the spaciousness of the 4 or 5 hours to really just like get in there and play with it on all of these different layers, all of these different levels, really surround it, love it up, and really encourage your whole system to get involved so that the learning is rooted. The learning is deep. The learning is a foundational shift in yourself. And that can be terrifying for some people to think like, am I going to change? Like, is my personality going to change? Is my identity going to change? Our identity is always fluid, technically, right? We can pull up any aspect of ourselves that we want to at any given moment. We forget that we have that power. And so part of the beauty of doing in the intensive is that we really get a chance to play with all of those different things and decide like what part of us maybe has kind of been hanging back in the chorus and needs to like be center stage and be the lead character now, right? And what parts of us have kind of been driving the bus and been the lead characters who maybe need to like take a break and go back into the chorus a little bit and still have something to say and contribute, but maybe not be front and center, right? And we can choose that for different situations in our lives. We can choose to embrace certain aspects of ourselves that we haven't been able to up to this point and really have a safe place to play with them all. So, reason number 4 to do a transformational intensive is to take it out of the intellectual, like I get it up here mode, and really truly getting it through every layer and every cell of your being so that you can truly change a behavior, a pattern, a reaction, and be able to sustain it long term. All right. Thank you.